Have you ever driven down a lonely road at night? The kind where the trees lean in so close they almost touch, and felt a sudden chill run down your spine? You check your rearview mirror, half expecting to see something that wasn't there a second ago. Well, tonight we're taking a trip down one of those roads, a very specific road in Michigan, US 12, known as the Old Sock Trail. This isn't just any scenic drive. It is home to one of Michigan's most enduring and chilling ghost stories, the tale of the Vanishing Hitchhiker. The story has many variations, but the core elements remain terrifyingly consistent. It usually begins on a dark, often rainy or snowy night. A lone driver, usually a man, is making his way along a desolate stretch of US 12. As he navigates the slick, empty road, his headlights cut through the gloom and land on a figure standing by the roadside. It's a young woman dressed in a simple, elegant gown often described as a white or pale-colored formal dress, completely out of place for the weather and the location. She's not wearing a coat, just standing there, shivering in the cold. Concerned for her safety, the driver pulls over. He rolls down his window and asks if she needs help. The woman is beautiful, but looks incredibly sad. She speaks softly, asking for a ride to her home just a few miles down the road. She might mention she's coming from a party or a dance. Her quiet demeanor and fragile appearance make it impossible for the driver to say no. He opens the passenger door, and she slides in, thanking him quietly. As they drive, the driver tries to make small talk. He might ask her name, but she's often quiet, giving short, evasive answers. He offers her his coat, which she gratefully accepts, wrapping it around her cold shoulders. The car fills with an unsettling silence, broken only by the hum of the engine and the swish of the windshield wipers. She gives him an address, often pointing toward a specific house, or in some versions of the tale, a cemetery. This is where the story takes its sharp, terrifying turn. The driver pulls up to the address she gave him. He turns to tell her they've arrived, but the passenger seat is empty. The woman is gone, not just out of the car, but completely vanished. The door never opened. He heard no sound. She simply ceased to be there. Confused and a little spooked, the driver sits for a moment, trying to process what just happened. Did he imagine it? Was he so tired that he hallucinated the whole thing? But then he remembers his coat. It's gone too. Driven by a mix of confusion and a growing sense of dread, the driver decides to approach the house. He needs answers. He knocks on the door, and after a moment, an elderly person, sometimes a man, sometimes a woman, answers. The driver begins to explain the strange encounter. He describes the young woman, her sad eyes, her formal dress, the ride he gave her. As he speaks, the face of the person at the door turns pale. Their expression shifts from curiosity to profound sorrow. They interrupt him, asking him to describe the woman again. He does, and the residents' worst fears are confirmed. That, they say, their voice trembling, sounds exactly like our daughter. They then deliver the final, heart-stopping revelation. Their daughter was killed years ago in a tragic car accident on this very night. On that very stretch of road, while coming home from a dance, she was buried in the dress he just described. Stunned into silence, the driver doesn't know what to believe. It's impossible, but the old couple's grief is too real, too raw. They tell him he's not the first person to come to their door with this story. Every year, on the anniversary of her death, she tries to make her way home. In the most chilling versions of the legend, the story doesn't end there. The grieving parents, seeing the driver's disbelief, lead him to the local cemetery, to a small, unassuming graveyard just off the main road. And there, under the moonlight, they show him a weathered tombstone bearing their daughter's name and the date of her death. And draped over the cold, hard stone is the driver's coat. This is the classic Vanishing Hitchhiker legend, a story that has been told and retold in cultures all over the world. But the Michigan version, tied to the old sock trail, has a particularly strong hold. Why? Perhaps it's the history of the road itself. US 12 is one of the oldest and most historic routes in the state, originally a Native American trail. Roads with that much history seem to collect stories, to hold echoes of the past. Over the years, paranormal investigators and local historians have tried to find a real-life basis for the legend. They've scoured old newspaper archives and death records, looking for a young woman who died in a car crash along US 12 under circumstances that match the tale. So far, no definitive, verifiable case has ever been found that perfectly aligns with the ghost story. But the absence of proof doesn't stop the sightings. People continue to report seeing a mysterious woman in white on that lonely stretch of highway. Is it a trick of the light? The power of suggestion fueled by a well-known local legend? Or is there truly a restless spirit, forever trying to complete her final journey home? What makes this story so powerful, so enduring? It taps into our deepest fears and our most basic sense of empathy. The fear of the unknown, of the supernatural breaking into our ordinary world. And the empathy for the driver, a good Samaritan whose kindness leads him into a terrifying encounter. But there's also a deep sadness to it. The story isn't about a malicious spirit. It's about a lost soul, a young girl whose life was cut short, trapped in a loop, endlessly trying to get back to the safety and love of her family. It reminds us that sometimes the most frightening things aren't the monsters that want to cause us harm, but the ghosts who are simply lost, their sorrow so profound it leaves an imprint on the world itself. So the next time you're driving alone on a dark road and you see a figure in your headlights, what would you do? Would you stop? Or would you press your foot on the gas, check your rearview mirror, and hope that whatever you saw doesn't decide to appear in the seat beside you? The legend of the Vanishing Hitchhiker of Michigan leaves us with that unsettling question. Thanks for joining me on this dive into one of America's most famous ghost stories. If you have a local legend from your hometown, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more explorations into the strange and unexplained. Stay curious and maybe keep your doors locked on those long, dark drives. See you next time.